Hi, Karen.
Hi, Mike.
How are you?
I'm well. Hope you're
Good.
well.
Yeah, so far so good.
It's been about 3 years since this team put together back-to-back wins. How important is it in the culture, what you're trying to build, to get some momentum with stringing
It's always important to win as many games as you possibly can. There's a lot of stats here, guys, that I'm not familiar with, nor am I concerned with. Right, the focus is, trying to build some consistency, which would then lead to confidence and continue to build on what we did, improve the things that we have to fix, and then continue to eliminate some of the things that we feel like could get you beat. And so I'm excited about doing that today through meetings and practice and getting them to get ready for a new opponent, just like we did last week. We cleared the deck and focused on the next opponent.
Mike, how is Terrell feeling, and what do you expect from him this week in terms of his involvement?
I'd say he's feeling better. I think that we'll probably be operating under the same premise. I mean, Terrell's around. I just, want to try to get some continuity, and with the situation probably being fluid, we'll stick to the same plan kind of that we had last week. He'll just be more involved. I just want to make sure that we're not in and out and in and out. That's all.
Any update on Christian?
Would expect him to do some stuff today at practice.
On Sunday, Travion had 3 holding calls. Do you plan on working with him this week a little extra with technique to try to minimize that trying to happen again?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, of course. And we believe, in Travion's ability to protect him. That's one thing that we think that he can do. And I think if you asked Antonio would probably be as much at fault as the one on the kickoff return. I mean, I don't think you can really bounce the ball out when we're kicking somebody out by the sideline. So that one I'll give him a pass on. The other ones we just have to make sure we keep our head up, stay square, and be able to move our feet and not let them beat our feet and grab them. So, two's too many. So we'll just keep working on it.
If Christian is doing stuff in practice today, does that leave Sunday a possibility for him?
Sure.
Mike, one of the things we have to do when we're talking about injuries is everything. We're not supposed to speculate, but everybody speculates. You as coach, you say how long it's going to be. We as media do that. When something is imagined to take a shorter time, it takes longer. And I remember Bill talking about this. We don't talk about timelines because we don't want to overestimate or underestimate. But is it hard for a player to not have his injury understood by the public?
I don't know. I certainly nobody. I guess if everybody's looking for somebody to blame, and I'm not, I'd try to just get them back as soon as they can get back and make sure that they're staying engaged. And then, we have to decide how long that's going to be. Is there short-term IR, all these different things that come into it. But everybody wants to blame if it's not in some window that the doctor on Twitter suggests or recommends. Again, having had numerous injuries, they all recover differently, and had players that have recovered, differently. And it's like, well, why did one injury take this long? And is it, the player not working hard to come back? Is it the trainer's fault? Is it this person's fault? I've said this: the injury rate in the professional football league is 100%. If you play this game long enough, you are guaranteed to get injured. I don't think you can avoid that. I think it's just how you handle it, and kind of go from there.
It just doesn't help you guys to put it out there how long somebody's going to be out. But if
why? Because it could be shorter or it could be longer, and then when it doesn't meet the timeline, then somebody's going to come back and say, well, you said it was going to be 2 weeks. I don't know. So instead of being wrong every single time, I choose to just try not to say a timeline. And if they are back in a week, then great. If it takes a couple weeks, and there we are. And that's go for everything.
From a player's perspective, you're like, holy crap, people have started to think it's taking too long. I wish I could tell people what's wrong with me so that they would understand.
And And I think that that's great in this case, maybe, but then it's going to be the next thing and the next thing. Like you're going to write, you got all pads and recorders, you're going to write whatever you want to write. They're going to think whatever they want to think. I think to that end, where would you stop? Where would you stop?
When you went back and watched the film, I'm curious what you saw in like the missed tackles. You would kind of.
We'll have to tackle much better. We'll have to tackle Warren, Jonnu, Metcalf, Austin. So that's the focus. That'll be a critical part of this game plan. Those guys are great with the ball in their hand. They run very hard. They're skilled. They're big, and present a challenge.
You faced Aaron Rodgers twice when you were in Tennessee. What's the challenge of facing him? And does he still look like the same Aaron Rodgers that you saw?
I think the ball can go. When you see him extend the play to the right and throw it down 60 yards or whatever that was, his operation is excellent. His ability to find relief throws and plays that aren't that he doesn't think will be positive plays. He finds relief throws. It'd be a great challenge to be able to find ways to affect them.
I just have one last follow-up.
How much of what they're doing is Arthur's offense versus how much of this is what Aaron has sort of brought with him from Green Bay to New York and now Pittsburgh?
Well, I think Arthur's done things with multiple quarterbacks. Is he doing what he did with Ritter where they're running zone read? No, but there's also other elements that he's done a lot of, and Aaron, having played quarterback as long as he has, is going to have things that he likes, and so I'd say it's a blend.
Mike, I just have one last follow-up with Christian. Some players are itching to get back maybe even too early based on the injury. How's his mindset been?
I don't know. The locker room will be open in 5 minutes. You'll be able to ask him. I'm not going to speak for his mindset.
Mike, you guys,
Yeah, that's just, if you ask me about anybody's mindset right now, I'd say you just feel free to ask them. They'll tell you exactly what their mind's thinking.
Drake Bay, what have you learned about him when it comes to motivation? And what's everyone is wired differently. What's the
Do we really think that we can motivate? Really? We're trying to inspire them. I think they're all motivated. They're professional athletes. And if they're motivated by championships, that's really great. If they're motivated in college because they want to date the cheerleader, even better. If they're motivated to earn a starting job. I just think that thinking that we have to motivate them. I want to inspire them and give them confidence and trust that they can go out there and do their job. I think that's the...
So with the player's personality, do you have to approach each one differently?
Well, yeah, we do that all the way. Whether we're teaching them, whether we're trying to inspire them, make a connection with them. I think you just have to know the audience and know who they are. Again, we've talked about having different personalities and trying to have one mindset and one mentality. So, I think he's personally motivated, and I think he's earning a lot of confidence, and I think just the decisiveness and the ability to perform and seeing these things translate from the first week to the second week was really good.
You guys had some more success in the ground game last week, but there were still some inconsistencies. It seemed like maybe specifically with some outside zone stuff. Curious, what do you feel like you guys did better, and what can you do to improve this week with some of those issues?
Well, we'll just have to, handle the front, handle movement. It's never going to be great. Almost average 5 yards a carry. We'll try to improve on that and kind of keep the scheme multiple.
I saw you give a team ball to Andy Bornellis and kind of saying, never lost the faith in you. Why was that so important to just highlight him after that game?
Well, we play a lot of rookies. And, that one in particular, when there's a missed combination block other than Taylor, I don't think anybody else is going to notice. But when you miss a kick, everybody notices. And, if the receiver lines up in a wrong spot, nobody notices. If an offensive lineman false starts, the entire stadium and everybody watching is, So again, I just think that's a job that I wanted to recognize, him going out there, and it's a huge kick. The difference between 3 and 6, and situations change really quick. I'm sure in his mind he's like, "Oh, we're going for it. I'm off," and then all of a sudden we're kicking. So to me, that's pretty cool.
Mike, to the story at Zach Core, to the best I can tell, when you hired him in Tennessee, all of his experience was on the offensive side of the ball. Why did you put him on defense, and why did you think he could handle that?
Just because I thought his we talked about some of these trends from college coming, and, nobody watches more defense than offensive coordinators. But, he learned what we were doing. He brought other ideas and then helped us, bridge the gap with some of those trends that were coming from college. And kind of what they were thinking. again, was heavily involved and did our red zone stuff in Tennessee and really grew exponentially as a defensive football coach.
Like, and when
Your final question.
you get a lead like you did in Miami, you can run whatever offense you want, but it seemed like the marriage between run and pass was really strong there. Is that something that was just, that's best for us against the Dolphins defense, or something that speaks to an identity?
It'll have to be the same thing this week. You know what I mean? I'm going to really struggle going forward if on Wednesdays we're reviewing the game. I mean, we do that on Monday, and we got a tough challenge. Just, Pittsburgh has got veterans, they got athletes, linebackers are fast. T.J. Watt's going to be an issue. Herbig have always had a lot of respect for his game. Cam Hayward will push the pocket back in the middle, and then you never know where Jalen Ramsey's going to be a corner, he's going to be a nickel, he's going to be a safety. So it'll be a huge challenge.
Mike,
Thanks, guys.